butterflies and perfect people. I know this is not my Butterfly Transformations channel. This is the I Am Melanin Magic channel, or Tanesia's Locks, beauty tips and potpourri, but I'm still saying hello. And I know I'm missing an earring, but it's okay. Today's video is super important. So please make sure you listen up for those of you who like to watch these videos, and for those of you in particular who may be new to your journey, shopping for a new loctician, or trying to raise awareness and education in these Sisterlocks and Microlocks streets, or for someone who just wants to enrich their repertoire of, I don't know, skills as it relates to, or information as it relates to, you know, being in this community of hair stuff that we're always talking about. So today I want to talk about how to know you got a good loctician, or in other words, how to assess your loctician, because there's not enough of that going on. Y'all know I was fortunate to have two great locticians. They were very different, and my experiences were different with both of them. The experience was not perfect, but I felt satisfied 95% of the time with what I was getting from my locticians. All right. I'm going to stop. I'm going to leave it there. I don't want to get too far into that. But what I do want to say is that there are some things that you got to look for. There are some things that you need to make sure you're getting. And even if you are, you know, navigating this journey with no problems, and the road is very smooth and everything is going well, and your lock journey is not careening off the road, it doesn't mean you don't need to listen and take note. All it means is that at this time, you're doing okay. And so as to continue to do okay, you still need to make sure you're getting these things. And if you're not getting them, you need to find a very tactful and strategic way to begin to open up the conversation around these things, or to begin to test the waters. Because if not, when you hit a snag in your journey, as you inevitably will, I can promise you that, I almost stake my life on that. You're gonna hit a snag at somewhere in the journey, because life is not perfect. They are not perfect, and what you're doing at home with your hair is not going to be perfect either. So let's go ahead and let's get into some of these things right away. Okay, the first thing we want to talk about, because I want to go over 9 things, is your loctician communicative and responsive? Now, in the ebook, I get into the nuts and bolts of all of this. The ebook, as you know, is extremely comprehensive. It's going to be more comprehensive than any of the 3 documents that you're going to be getting when you sign up for the hair appraisal. You know, that's going to involve a PowerPoint presentation. It's going to involve some take-home stuff, some serums. You have to complete an in-depth questionnaire with pictures and so forth that you're going to upload in that document in order for me to see what's going on and have an intelligent discussion with you and answer all the questions that you may have. But the comprehensive ebook is going to be comprehensive. It is what is going to have pictures of some of the things that we're talking about. It's going to have testimonials, anecdotal records, and other information that has been shared by the women that I've spoken to. And you're going to get, like I said, the best of what I have to give. But I'm going to give you some snapshots of some of the things that are critical. So the first thing is, she needs to be communicative and responsive. People communicate all day long, and they talk. That's not communication. Communication is a bi-directional, two-way conversation where both people feel that they are being heard and listened to. And responsiveness has to do with how that person responds, not reacts, which is more impulsive, how they respond to and cater to whatever your concerns, your suggestions, or your feedback is. That is critical. You don't want to find out that you have a loctician who is not responsive and who is more reactionary and more insecure in her skills and feels as though she's under attack. And then when you bring a concern to her, which you inevitably will need to, if you are acting on behalf of your hair, something's going to come up and you're going to need to bring a concern to her. Even if it's something as simple as that hurt, or my hair hurts, or, you know, the last time I went home, I had to take these pills for 2 or 3 days. For those of you who heard the interview with Coach Curry, you heard she used to take the pills the day before she was going to have the retightening. So whatever it is, you need to know that person is responsive and communicative. And what does that mean? That means that you do not go into that session ready to chill, sit back, kick your feet up, and think that you're doing self-love and self-care. Your retightening sessions are not about self-love and self-care. I can promise you that, and they shouldn't be. They are a time for you to assess and evaluate what is going on with your hair, and to assess and evaluate what is going on with your loctician, and to hold the space and give her the space to pay attention to what is going on with your hair. Because as she's moving through your hair, your hope, if she's efficient and effective, and if she's qualified to be doing what she's doing, and I'm not talking about qualified by way of having some ABC credential, all right, because I don't consider that a qualification, and I got a ton of alphabets behind my name, but that is not what makes a person good. That is not what makes you an expert, and that is not what makes you adept and have an aptitude to be doing what it is that you may find yourself doing. So these things are really, really important. You don't want to find out at the last minute that you're going to be left hanging. You want to be able to hold the space for her by being quiet and letting her move through your hair, because the hope, like I said, if she's an efficient and an effective loctician, is that she's assessing, she's troubleshooting. She's the same thing that I'm doing when I'm working with my clients. The same thing that you do if you have your own business, or the same thing that you do even if you're working for Mr. Charlie and you have your own job. There are things that you do that make you a level or a cut above the rest, right? You're not sitting there like an automaton just going through the motions, mindlessly and heedlessly checked out. No, you're looking at, you're surveying the landscape, you're checking, you're analyzing the locks, you're trying to remember what you did last time to this person's hair, you're trying to figure out what is the accumulation of what this particular technique is adding up to. Do you need to change the pattern? Do you need to shift? Whatever it is, okay? So there are a lot of things that that person needs to be mindful of, and if you're talking the entire time, you're not going to give them the space to do that. And if they're going to do it, they're going to do it anyway, and if they're not going to do it, talking or being quiet is going to be the least of your problems anyway, right? The second thing that I want to talk about is individualization. Does this person properly and carefully individualize your experience, or are they treating you like a number? Are they saying to you, okay, you got to come in 6 weeks because that's when all my clients come in, and if you come in late, you're going to pay an extra $50 for each extra 15 minutes, whatever it might be. Are they looking at your individual situation and assessing and saying things like, well, it's the winter time. I think that, your hair is growing a little slower. Let's shift your retightenings out. Whatever it is, are you a number or are you an individual? Third thing, do they have problem solving and creative solution capability? Do they have the ability, because not everybody does, not everybody is created equally. Do they have the ability to see a problem, to anticipate an issue, to head off an issue, or when an issue falls in their lap, to creatively bring solution to that issue? Or are they going to say something like, go see a dermatologist? But wait, you've been sitting over my head with a 360-degree circular view for the last 8 years. What do you mean, go see a loctician? What happened to my locks? Are they in your pocket? Are they on the floor? Did you flush them down the toilet? These are the kinds of things that I'm talking about. And while that may seem funny or facetious, it's very serious. Understand that you should be getting assessment and feedback at every session. Period. End of discussion. You should have a sense that this is a professional that you are paying not to. You can get a robot to go through and do the pattern. Anybody can do that, right? That's just a competitive motion, kind of like an assembly line, right? You want the assessment, you want the feedback, you want to know what's going on with your hair. And ideally, you don't want to have to be the one to ask what's going on with my hair. You want this person to tell you. I can't tell you the number of anecdotal records and personal horror stories. Wait until, please keep up with this channel, because I'm going to be sharing a lot of stuff that I am gathering through these Google Drive forms, through my interviews, through the conversations I'm having with women on this channel, and through what is going into that ebook. Make sure you understand the level of horror is beyond what you believe, and nobody ever starts out thinking that this is what is going to happen between them and their loctician. We can have difficulties when we have a friendship. We can have a lot of difficulties when we have a business relationship or a transactional relationship. Do not assume that just because you are exchanging money and you need that person and you value them because you value your hair and they're doing your hair, that they value you the same way and that it's not just a job for them. This is serious business. You need to be mindful of what is happening out here in the Sisterlocks and Microlocks, retightening, hair maintenance streets, and you need to try to stay ahead of the curve. As I mentioned, I will be getting into a lot more of the details with the ebook, which will be out in full color, okay, by the 15th of April. Okay, so here we go. You want to make sure that you're dealing with someone who is able to give you the feedback. And like I said, sometimes you got to ask for it. Sometimes you don't. It's better if they let you know and you don't have to ask for it. Then you know you're dealing with somebody that's actually a professional, Albie. Okay? All right. Let's look. Number 4, are they invested in your hair health? You invested in them financially. Are they invested in your hair health? Number 5, are they concerned with your comfort during the session? Okay, yeah, you got a nice fluffy chair. You can sit back. They can adjust that and all that. But are they concerned with the meat of what you're there for, which is this hurting your head? Are you having to take pills? You know, how are you usually feeling about my retightenings? Are they hurting or are they comfortable? I can't think of a loctician that has ever asked that question. And the problem is because we haven't forced them to ask that. We haven't brought these things to their attention. We've let them know that I'll take pills, I'll sit in the chair, I'll be abused, I'll experience hair trauma, I'll lose my hair, and you can just keep doing business as usual. No, it's time out for that. It's time for you to start holding people accountable. It's time for you to start raising the bar. It's time for you to force them to up level because they are a professional and you are paying them and you have turned over your most prized and glorious possession over to them. It is time for you to keep an eye on your investment. Are they concerned with your level of comfort? Have you had to tell them too many times that hurts or ouch or that is snagging? This stuff is serious, y'all. Next, does this person have time for your appointment? Scheduling integrity. Okay. Have they made enough time for you? Because there are a lot of things that can happen during a session. There should be some lead time in there beyond the obvious. For example, or if they're moving too fast, maybe it's because they got a next appointment coming right up. And so they got to tear through your hair so that maybe they don't end up working till 11 o'clock at night. So they're cutting the time in half. So they're moving. Is there scheduling integrity? Is there a level of professionalism that actually shows that they are invested in your hair? This next one is super important. I think we're on number 8. And that is, do they see the relationship as a collaboration? In other words, are you treated like or seen or viewed by them, whether it's outwardly or inwardly, as an underling, or do they see this as a collaboration? Does that person think that because they got the mechanical training, which anybody can get, that they know more than you? Do they understand, like Miss Dee Dee said, shout out to the lovely Miss Dee Dee out there in California, who is a loctician who came on the channel many months heretofore, that you know your hair story, that you know more about what's going on with your hair, that you're the one that's sitting with your hair in between retightenings, that you are the one that is looking at the trauma, that you are the one that is feeling the trauma. Do they take into consideration what your concerns are? I.e., you know what, loctician, I got a few locks that are falling out on this particular side. I notice that each time I come in, it's this side that is more tender, and it's this side because the angulation or the way in which you're standing that seems to be the tightest. Is there anything that we can do to ease up on the tension in that area? Oh, I just think you're overreacting. I think you're paranoid. I wouldn't say worry about it. I don't know. I don't think the way I'm doing anything makes a difference. I do the same thing all around your head. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. Because what are they going to say when you tell them, I think that I need to go longer between retightenings, or I think that you routinely are tightening my Sisterlocks or my Microlocks too tight to the scalp? No, it's not good enough. Last but not least, I told you, or I mentioned earlier, that are they invested in you? Are they invested in your hair health? This one is, are they invested in the fact that you are invested in them? do they have a sensitivity and an understanding that there's a relationship? See, from usually when you're really good at what you do and you're customer based and customer focused in the running of your business, then you value your customers and you treat them as such. When a concern comes up, you do everything you can to mitigate that concern and to solve it to the satisfaction of your client. And you don't waste time with that. But when you're dealing with someone who doesn't operate like that, or who doesn't function like that, who doesn't understand professionalism and credibility, who doesn't understand ethical integrity, who doesn't understand the litany of all those different things, you run into situations where you're paying them and you're happy to sit down in the chair because this is a person that's caring for your hair. And somewhere within you, you love this person. Okay, if not, you have no business being in their chair, and I'm not talking to you, that's on you. But somewhere within you, you have feelings of affinity and endearment for this person because they're doing something very important. Is this the person that when you can't make an appointment, they double charge you? Is this the person who charges you the first time you have a slip up, a late fee, or something else? Do they not have respect for the humanity that is involved in the relationship, whereby you all are exchanging energy and you are in their energy and they are in your energy? Or is this purely transactional for them? Do they understand that you are invested in them? Meaning there's a certain relationship that we have with the loctician that they may not necessarily have with us. And that's essentially what I'm talking about. You can be feeling these ways about them because you need them and you appreciate them, but they don't have to feel that way about you because this is business. You could be a transaction. If you have someone that really cares about what they do and cares about growing their business, they care about you. But if you're dealing with someone that's treating you like a transaction, you're going to feel that when you get up against a problem. The lady I most recently spoke with, who has, and I'm bringing her on the channel, dissecting cellulitis, was in the seat of her loctician for 8 years. And even when she pointed out some sores and lesions, that lady continued down to when she had this much hair left, and asked her, when was she coming in for her next retightening? Huh? Wait, what? Like, I'm so serious. That's a call coming up. I'm sorry. Like, I'm so serious about that. She sat by and watched this. And when the hair started to grow under in the opposite direction under the scalp, and the tunnels were being formed that were consistent with the way the locks were being married, it was serious. She had nothing to say during this whole time. She called one time to check on her and hadn't called since. She was seeing this lady for 8 years, only later to find out when another Black professional referred her to a Black dermatologist, that same Black dermatologist was treating her loctician's hair as well. Wait, what? Like, this is the type of craziness I'm talking about. So is the person invested in you? To find out more about your journey and the things you need to be able to sidestep and transition and navigate through as you go through this journey, to get a real comprehensive look at just what you may be dealing with, or even to get a head start or to be proactive, sign up for your hair appraisal, your breakdown, or your preventive maintenance consult today. Hopefully not your 911 consult. Be on the lookout for the ebook. By April the 15th, it will be up. It is almost done. I am simply finishing the cover with pictures of you beautiful ladies out here in this creation, out here in these spiritual streets. I love you. I love you. If you have not purchased my Manifesting Your Masterpiece book, you can get that on Amazon.com to up-level your mindset and up-level your life. It is by Tunisia Ali. It is also on Barnes & Noble in addition to Amazon. Lots of love to you. I will see you around. Keep an eye on the channel if you're interested in coming on here to tell your personal story, or if you want to reach out to me to tell your personal story or text me, feel free to do so. 678-438-6442. We are raising the bar. Okay, we're taking our power back by educating ourselves and realizing not only is there safety in numbers, but there is strength in numbers. Lots of love to you.